Okay, so I was invited in, or pestered, by both Neil Morin and Maria Barrett, who's only here because the telly's broken, in case none of you knew. But I was finally persuaded, after God knows how many tweets, when Neil Morin said, well, it's only 5 minutes, and it's something about you that you're passionate about, and what can go wrong? Well, I'm sort of thinking what can go wrong is alienating your audience. So, it's not about Man United. Oh God, I'm like, right. So that first one was just a bit about me, and so I am actually going to talk about inclusion and collaboration. So first of all, there's a sort of functional approach to inclusion, which really is just where inclusion is a sort of state. It's sort of a checklist. So to do this sort of thing, you can do things like take down the keep out sign, get rid of the guard dog, and you can just let people in. Or you could go a step further and you could get out the welcome mat, you could invite people in, you could consult them, you might even show their work, or you might even give them a job. These are all ingredients of inclusion, and indeed you can use them. But there's a problem in taking the functional approach, because it sort of requires that you know the labels I'm wearing. So for instance, are you inviting me here because I'm a woman, or because I'm a wheelchair user, etc. So it's around that rather than changing the organisation. And inclusion really is a process, it's not state. You can't say I have got it, I have got inclusion, but it's something actually that a lot of organisations look for when they're talking to us about inclusion. So the criteria for inclusion is simply breathing, even if you need breathing apparatus. That is the only. And actually it shares some of the attributes of the social model, as you see. All means all, so it's not just about everyone in terms of everybody getting in, it's actually about us all working together, whether you're an organisation, an individual, two organisations collaborating. So, unlike the term access for all, it's sort of inclusion means with and not just in. And there's little nuances that you get with language, like I noticed I put Arts Council up there, great art for everyone. I actually think that says something rather than saying great art with everyone, which is sort of much more inclusive. And of course, so that leads you on to sort of saying, well, bottom up, which is we also talk about with social media and so on, it has to be top down. So in other words, whoever's running the organisation, it has to be all part of it. They have to get the whole staff involved. It has to be about giving up control. You've got to give up control to be able to take risks. You can't control the message anymore, as I just did with the last one. It's also about listening, it's about trust. And this is a two-way thing, always a two-way thing. So once you start listening, you're actually then gaining trust from people, and that's the way you can find out what different tools people need. They're not always tools like, you know, a wheelchair, an induction loop or whatever. They can be tools such as time, or somebody with somebody, or, you know, all sorts of things. This, for me, if you just go back to that functional approach, this is what networking is for me, usually. Right? Bums. That's all I get, bums, when I go networking. Because I turn up and they're like, oh, glass of wine, oh, yeah, this is nice, can't move, because a glass of wine in my hand. And you just get raw bums like that. So, actually, Twitter, which I'm great, you know, preaching to the converted, but this is a great place of where people get to know me, they get to meet me before they meet me, so there's none of these assumptions there. So it's no longer about sort of silos, already sort of art and music, or art and theatre mixing together. We shouldn't have diversity as separate, it should be there within the art form. So this new landscape, it's not hierarchical anymore, it's flat, which is great news for wheelchair users as well. And, I'm a little ahead of myself now. So yeah, so it's flat, i.e. more transparent as well. And this is the old order of things. Well, actually it's still the order of things, where the things that matter are race, location, gender, age, cash, pedigree, disability, qualifications. Those are all things that still matter. But in what I'm passionate about, in my new world, these are the sort of things that matter. And they're actually the sort of things that happen in social media as well. The credibility, its reputation, merit, quality, creativity. It's not all the other things. Whoosh! Brilliant, isn't it?